Hello YouTube, this is Igmatronic here once again with a c7.5 Audi A6 with a 2-liter turbo ZF8 automatic was a transmission, or some people like to call it slush box 8. Well, either way, I'm going to show you how to readapt the transmission for the clutch packs. This is intended for people that got their service done for the transmission fluid and filter, and or if the 8-speed is acting up, being rough. This is another way to do it. But let's get into it. There's a little blue button once you are connected with the OBDEleven. Go into the modules right here. Under transmission, the one thing you have to make sure before you do any of this is make sure that the transmission fluid is up to temperature. If it's over 50 Celsius, it's good. If it's over 80 Celsius, it's bad. So let's see. Actually, I don't even need to type it. So transmission fluid temperature right here. Hit OK under live data. So it's at 62 Celsius, which is pretty good. Almost getting too hot, but this method will reduce the temperature anyways. So from here we got to go to basic settings and erase the system specific adaptation values right here. Hit check mark. Okay, basic setting ended. You can get out of that. Hold. Here, let's see if I can put this here. Much better. Okay. So from here you have to go to reset adaptation values, hit the little green marker right here, check mark, that's done. Okay, was it erase counter start stop, check mark, adaptation accepted, or basic settings accepted, basic setting ended, hit the little red button. Okay, was it then reset insertion was a procedure counter, process counter, I mean. The check mark, ended, exit. Now in order for you to actually continue with the fast adaptation, you have to go into fast adaptation, leave the car on, seatbelt on, and you have to hold the brake. Otherwise it'll say safety reasons, it's not going to do it. And then put it in drive. Just sit like this. Okay. You're gonna hit the check mark. Active. RPMs will go up on its own. It will shift through gears on its own. This usually takes about it will shift through gears at some points. This usually takes about like anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. So you just got to sit there with the brake on and in drive. You will feel nudging back and forth on the clutch packs or the transmission. It feels like it's a little bit of like pushing like this. So what the transmission is currently doing is getting the fill pressure of the individual clutch packs was at just right to acceptable smoothness. So I believe there's like 6 clutch packs or something like this, A, B, C, D, E, and no, there's 5 clutch packs. Anyways, yeah, so you just got to sit here. At some points it will go through the individual gears, and oh, that was a rough one. It will go through individual gears to get the fill pressure up on it, and I will explain it to you once this procedure is done, what it has finished and has done. So yeah, let me just pause this real quick. Once it does go through the first to third gear, I will record back up. Okay, so it has shifted through to the third gear. So currently still active for fast adaptation. So at some point it will shift to the 4th gear as well, I believe, and once it does something, I will get back to you with that. 1 second. Okay, so this is minute number 4. Currently just switched to 4th gear and is adapting the 4th gear. So I will get back to you with whatever else happens. Okay, so after fourth gear, it doesn't go into fifth gear. It seems like that's the lower range ones that it works on the most. The fifth, sixth, and seventh gear is pretty easy to adapt on its own due to the fact that it's not as torquey of a gears, and it will say basic setting has ended. Now, I will show you what you should look out for. Let's see. So live data, and then if you type in clutch. Okay, and select all, right, as you can see there, hit OK. It will show you that the gear number or clutch number A, which I believe is like the 7th and 8th gear, has a negative 50 millibar, and the adaptation counter is only 1. So it will, once this whole procedure is done, you have to go for a nice leisurely drive for it to fully properly adapt. So I was at the fill pressure for B is 150. Let's see, fill pressure for C is 50, fill pressure D is 150, and fill pressure E, which is the first gear I believe, is 300 in the negative. So what does this negative mean is that in my current case, the fluid is very old. I will be doing a service sooner or later. Once the fluid becomes thin, the clutch packs don't keep the torque range from factory set, like, you know, set parameters. So my car is the 2-liter turbo North America edition, 252 horsepower, 273 pounds of torque, and that 273 pound of torque is supposed to be available at 1700 RPM or so. So if my first gear is negative 300 millibars, the clutch won't engage fully until about whatever 2100 RPM, right? Like full on bite point, I guess you could call it. I don't know how else to explain it. But so from here, what I will show you is so once you figure out all these, you can take a screenshot of them, right? Like I got the video to reference from, but take a screenshot of it. And tablets are not really necessarily easy to handle with one hand. So anyways, so if I go to clutch, or live data, I mean, not clutch. In live data, if you type in clutch, right, what you are looking for is the adaptation counter. Like, this is how many times did it try to adapt it while you're driving, right? So all the other ones I would disable. So adaptation counter, clutch B is on. C, I don't need to see the fill times and all this shit. Adaptation counter clutch C is on, and same with the rest of the clutches. So you got to do this to the D one. So counter's on. Get the keyboard out of the way, and then E, adaptation counter. Okay, everything is good. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The clutch adaptations that we'll want. That's what we want to see. All of them are 1, right? And the other thing that you got to add is engine torque. Engine torque and transmission fluid temperature. So try your best to keep the engine torque. Oh, by the way, one trick that I noticed: if you add the last live data, it will pop up at the bottom. Not easy to see while you're driving, of course. So if you hit back and then hit OK again, it'll pop up at the top, which is nice. So from here, drive. Try not to go over 100 Newton meters of torque, so that way that the transmission can properly adapt on its own. Right. So once you see every single one of these counter clutches or adaptation counters to be 6, that's when you're done. And over time, transmission will adapt in its own way when it deems necessary, right? So I'm just gonna go for a quick drive, and we'll be right back with results overall. Okay, so mostly the adaptation counter, pretty much every single clutch pack has been complete, besides B, due to the fact that the temperature of the transmission fluid has gone up, or gone down, I mean. In comparison to outside temperature, it makes sense why. It's 4 Celsius out with a little frost marker. But 6 was it pretty much every single clutch pack got the counter, adaptation counter to 6 besides clutch B. It will do it on its own automatically once the transmission deems that it's warm enough for it. In the middle of the night at like 2 a.m., it's not going to try to do it now. But let's see how we did with the fill pressures. So if you just type in clutch and then just select all. Okay. So was it, if you remember, it was at -50 for the was it fill pressure for clutch A. Now it's at 20 millibars, 6 attempts for adaptation. Let's see, this was at clutch B was at like, I believe like 150. Now it's at 160. Not that big of a difference. It won't make any major difference, and I believe there's one more to go, so it will lower the the pressure to closer to 0 soon after this. So clutch C was 50, it's at -20 now. Clutch D was at -150, so it's at 80 now. And the worst one of them all, which is first gear, clutch E, is at -390. Makes sense. First gear is always the one to be the most pressured onto, so I do need to change the fluid due to the fact that this is just not getting any better. It's not getting into the 100 to 200 range. It's almost at 400, -400 millibars, or millibar, I believe that's called. But rest of that was at fill pressure for B. Decoupling, it'll do it on its own. It's already hasn't started yet, but I do believe, due to the fact that the temperature of the transmission fluid is way too low for it to do these adaptations. So I noticed that the transmission did get a lot smoother than before, and it makes sense why. It's just been freshly adapted. So if you are having transmission fluid problems, just try this method. Maybe maybe it'll help you, maybe not. But do feel free to give me a comment down below, see how you did. And I hope this helps somebody. I know it's 12 minutes, 13 minutes or so far watching this boring shit, but if you're still here, thank you very much. Feel free to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's up to you. I'm not going to pressure you to do anything. If you want to give any ratings, by all means. So yeah, this was Zigmatronic, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night, depending where you are. Take care. Bye-bye.